Have you seen this symbol before? If you go to some Bible building, or if you have relatives that do and you've been around, or you know things in the occult or whatever else, I want to zoom in here. I'm going to show it here on screen. This is in a cult building, a Lutheran cult building, Lutheran in other words. And as you can see here, you can't really get too good of a shot of this thing. You can see it right there. And this is a very interesting symbol for a number of reasons. And because you can't see it, I thought I would draw out my own little rendition of it, because I zoomed in as much as I could and couldn't find this thing online, but I think that there's some very deep stuff going on here. So I'll have my lovely assistant come in here with the drawing that I did and go ahead and show it there. All right, now if you notice, if you know anything about the occult, this is the symbol here basically that was used. You have a triangle here with a circle around each one of the points. Now they would say, well, this is to represent the Godhead, you know, the Trinity. Well, the problem with that is, if you read your Bible, Acts chapter 17, Paul dealing with the pagan people there, Acts chapter 17 and verse 29, it says, "For as much then as we are the offspring of God, we ought not to think that the Godhead is like unto gold or silver or stone, graven by art and man's device." So we're not supposed to make images of the Godhead. So if this thing is depicting the Godhead, you're in violation of Scripture. But understand the occult here. If you take these three circles and you intertwine them, you get a triquetra, right? The symbol of witchcraft, the witchcraft trinity. Bring it down just a little bit. And in the center, you have IHS. Now they say it's a Latin meaning, you know, following Jesus or something essentially like that, but which is nonsense. If you really know what's going on there, it's Isis, Horus, and Set. I've heard some people say Seb as well, but Isis, Horus, Set there. In Egyptian mythology, it goes back to Semiramis, Nimrod, and Tammuz in the Babylonian tradition there. It has nothing to do with God. All right, this is a very occult symbol. But notice too that there are three butterflies in between there. There's a red one, a purple one, and a green one. And again, it represents the banner that was in this occult building there, which I'll tell you a little bit more. Actually, she'll tell you a little bit more about that in a minute. But butterflies, what is a butterfly? Well, in the occult world, it's a symbol of reincarnation. It starts out as a caterpillar. It's transformed into a beautiful butterfly. It's a symbol of reincarnation or transformation. Also in mind control, the Monarch Project. You start out with a caterpillar, a regular person, and you transform them into a beautiful butterfly, a mind-controlled slave. So there's obviously some major occult stuff going on here. My question is to anybody out there, do you know the origin of this thing? Do you know any other details about this? Obviously very occult symbol. All right. And of course the seal of the Jesuit order, I'll put the seal up here. The seal of the Jesuit order is IHS. That means Jesuit.
And the signature of the Superior General of the Jesuit order. That's his signature logo.
Mm-hmm. But what's the significance of your life and this particular building?
Where do I start?
Well, we're you know, we're not going to do a big history thing of it here, but what's your connection to the building?
Well, I was baptized as an infant in this satanic occult building that this logo has been found in, with the Lord's help. And I was, I don't know when I was exactly baptized into witchcraft, but that's what it was. Infant baptism is witchcraft. Then later on in my junior high years, I was confirmed into the Catholic, excuse me, Lutheran faith, and then upon high school graduation, you know, I was you know, still forced to go attend services with my parents. My mother was always forcing me into being an acolyte when I said I don't want to. She's like, "Oh, come on, you'll be good at it."
Sure. But what I'm saying is, this building in particular is the one you were raised in.
Yes.
Yes.
Infant baptized into witchcraft, confirmed in, had a, you know, graduation ceremony at the cult building and everything, and
I'll put that down.
Not really a ceremony, but a celebration, I should say.
Sure.
And it's been my lifelong mind control based cult building.
Mm-hmm. And the hireling that's currently there wasn't the one that was there when you were growing up, but
Right.
what's the guy's name? We're going to put a picture up of him here too.
Well, he came after I graduated from high school, so I don't remember the exact year off the top of my head, but the first hireling's name was Alan Helwege, Hellwege. The current papist hireling, his name is Mr. Kenneth J. And I took this from the website, so I'm not, just forgetting
Yeah.
things. Last name Davidson, Davidson.
Yes. Okay, here's
Concordia University graduate.
here's his picture. Okay, interesting little thing he's doing with his hands there. Now that is an occult symbol. Okay, first of all you say, well, no, it just means peace. You go like that, it means peace. Well, if you understand the peace symbol is a cross, an upside down cross with the two arms broken down like that. Okay, it is a satanic symbol. All right, it's also a rune, by the way. I forget what, if it's not Tiwaz, I forget which rune it is, but it has 2 points down or I should say 3 points down and 1 up like that. Okay, so that is inside a circle. It's a satanic symbol, the peace thing. So even if he's trying to say peace or something, it's satanic. But within the Illuminati, they have the law of fives, Roman numeral 5. And also within the occult, you have the 2 horns of Satan up and the Trinity, the 3 down. This is also another way to do it. And I'm doing that just for illustration purposes. Somebody's probably going to take a snippet of that or something, but whatever, that's your problem. I'm not an occultist. I'm just showing you what the symbol is. But it's interesting that he would do that with both hands. Interesting too, because Jack Hyles did the same thing.
And so did Ernie Land, very blatantly in his
Yeah.
conference.
Well, he was doing the actual Il Cornato thingy, whatever with his hands, the whatever. So very interesting. And it just so happens, just by sheer coincidence, that Atlantic, Iowa is not very far from Omaha, Nebraska. Omaha, Nebraska that had the Franklin cover-up years ago. John DeCamp, where all these Republican, within the Reagan-Bush administration, these guys were basically raping small children. You say, well, that sounds like something a liberal Democrat would come out with. Yeah, except for the fact that John DeCamp was a Republican congressman.
And ironically, I can relate to a lot of the stuff that's written in there. I don't understand why yet. The Lord hasn't revealed it to me yet, but in His timing, we'll bring it out.
Yep. And just a really very well documented book, but very sick book. I mean, it's just really sick to read of some of the stuff that went on there. Let me get a picture here real quickly. Understand that within the occult, within the Jesuit system, you basically have a lot of perversion that goes on as a means of control. Just show you this picture here really quickly. If you saw not debate, the interview I did with Eric Phelps, I asked him about Exarban. And right here's a picture from John DeCamp's book of some men from Exarban. Okay, dressed up like women. All right. Some sick individuals here. This was in 1967. So this is before a lot of the sodomy was really, sodomy and transvestite, transgender, whatever, satanic perverts.
Didn't that predate the overthrowing of the miscegenation laws?
That was the same year. Loving versus Virginia was 1967. I'm not sure the exact.
But I'm saying this might have predated that law being
I don't know.
passed. Okay.
I don't know. But they don't really give the month or whatever here. But same year that the anti-miscegenation laws were lifted here in America with Loving versus Virginia. These perverts are out there dressed like women, and they're good community leaders, of course, very good community leaders. And there's plenty of them that go to this Babel building where my wife was raised. But that's the symbol. We're curious about that. If anybody has any other information about this thing, I mean, the Lord's showing us stuff all the time, revealing things, to us, and this is definitely an occult symbol. There's no question about that. And for it to be in a Lutheran church, there's definitely Jesuit involvement. I mean, the IHS, and the IHS there is all through that cult building. You can look up the pictures of it. What's the website for that Bible building?
www.zion, Z-I-O-N, Atlantic, ATLANTIC.com.
Yeah, and you can go
all
to the
one word, Zion Atlantic.
and you can look at the photo gallery. You'll see it all throughout the sanctuary, if you want to call it that. IHS here, IHS there, you know, the gold cross up front, and IHS in the middle, and everything. Jesuit involvement in a Lutheran church.
And the Catholic Alpha intertwined with the I forget what the symbol
Omega.
is called. Alpha and Omega on each side of this one weird what's the thing with the X and the P together?
Yeah, the Greek word PX there, it's relative to Greek words meaning Christ.
Yeah.
But, you know, and these guys, these priests, a lot of times will wear the P and the X right in the middle of their little robes that they wear and stuff like this. You know, bunch of satanic nonsense. But we, you know, wanted to do this thing just to get this symbol out there and get it known to people. Here you go. You can hold it again. You do a good job. We just wanted to get this thing out there to get it known that they're putting their symbols out and occult symbols in Babel buildings, because Babel buildings are pagan temples. That's what they are. And I've seen IHS in Baptist churches. All right, that's a symbol.
On a Baptist church.
Yeah, one right down the road actually. More on that coming out later. But you know, it's getting bad. You know, these Babel buildings. Actually, it's getting bad for them, getting good for us as Bible-believing Christians, because everything that we've said that people say, oh, you're crazy, you're kooky, you're weird, it's just coming right out in the open now. So it makes our job easier, convincing people of the wickedness and the evil. And if you are going to some place where they're running these kind of symbols, having these things out there and things, get out. Don't go and meet with the pastor and sit down and have a nice little talk over coffee. Get away from it. Run away as quickly as you can. It's Jesuits that are running the thing. All right. And you say, well, you know, but my pastor, he went to a school that was not a Jesuit school. He didn't go to Loyola or Georgetown or Creighton or any of these others. Creighton University, by the way, is right out there in that same area. Works hand in hand with the hospital where my mother-in-law, her mother, works. She's worked directly with them. Yeah. So it's but you say, my pastor didn't go to a Jesuit university. Well, that's not entirely true. You see, the Jesuit schools, Georgetown, Loyola, Gonzaga, Creighton, you know, Fordham, all these schools, they're openly Jesuit. But the fact is, they control the other ones. If they don't have the King James Bible as their final authority, if they're using the new versions are put out by Jesuits. Okay, they tie right back to the Vatican.
Or if they use multiple versions, you know, like perversions plus the King James at the same time as, you know, comparison for so-called, how do they say that? Yeah,
with better readings and stuff like that. The point is, the Nessel's text is one of the men that sits on the board of editors and things there is Cardinal Carlo Maria Martini. He's a Jesuit cardinal. He's dead and in hell right now. Knows better, and I'm sure if he could see what we're saying, he's probably cheering us on and saying, please tell people, I was deceived my whole life. You know, warn them about stuff like this. But the point is, if they're going through some kind of a seminary that's not King James Bible believing, they're coming through a Jesuit school. Might not be Jesuit named, but it still is teaching the foundational principles of the Jesuit system. So run away from these Babel buildings. If you know anything about this symbol, any more detail about it, what it might be called or whatever else, put it down in the comments section. So that is going to be it. Thank you for watching.